It is time for the Drew Yari Show. Drew Yari.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going solo tonight. I missed a show yesterday. Probably due because I was just tired from work and Loki was on. And also I didn't watch NXT on Tuesday. I kind of got a gist of what happened. From what I saw, mainly it was just, I guess it was just segments to set up the. I don't even know if you want to call it pay-per-view. Takeover this Sunday. So this is going to be a very short show. It's just mainly going to be doing takeover predictions and going to cover a few other things. Me and RJ are going to be doing something Saturday. We're going to be doing a Patreon show Saturday to make up for the lack of Patreon shows. And then Sunday, I guess if I can get somebody, where I'll end up doing a takeover post show. If not, then oh well. So let's cover NXT Takeover in your house for this Sunday. Let's pull up the match card. All right, NXT Takeover in your house will be this Sunday, June 13th, from the Performance Center. Not in the Capitol Wrestling Center, the Performance Center. Interesting. So let's look at the matches so far. I'm just going to start from the bottom. You got Bronson Reed. Or actually, here's the match. Winner takes all six man tag team match for the North American NXT North American Championship and the NXT Tag Team Championship. You got Bronson Reed, who's the North American Champion, and MSK, who are the Tag Team Champions, versus Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza. This could be interesting because Escobar is now officially out of the cruiserweight title picture. Now he's moving on to the main, like the main title picture, or not even main title picture, but just like he's moving away from the cruiserweight title, which he's going after the North American Championship, which is interesting, and. This could be interesting because I was always surprised how they never wanted to give Legado del Fantasma all the gold, because I just assume that's what they do with factions, especially because they obviously love Escobar and I like him too. The other two, who is it? Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza. They're not terrible, but they're okay. I don't see them getting the title off of Bronson this quick, but then again, there's rumors that Vince wants to bring a lot of guys up from NXT to the main roster to fill out those fill out a lot of that open space made by the releases recently. So it wouldn't shock me because Keith Lee wasn't even champion that long. He was just champion for like 1 month and a half. So I don't know. I'm gonna say Escobar. Escobar and Legado del Fantasma walk out winners, and then Bronson Reed debuts on the main roster because it almost seems like that's the way they're gonna go. So I'm gonna go with Legado del Fantasma, and then MSK can chase Del Fantasma for the tag titles. So next match, you got NXT Women's Championship. You got Raquel Gonzalez, champion, versus Ember Moon. I'm going to go with Raquel winning. I don't see her losing the title this quick. Because the women's division already seems a little. I was going to say stacked. It's stacked to a T, but I don't think she's really needed in the main roster right now. She needs to stay on the NXT roster. So she's going to go over Ember Moon. This is coming from a few weeks ago on NXT when Raquel, put Shotzi on the shelf. Apparently, Shotzi's actually hurt because somebody on Twitter posted his Shotzi hurt, and Shotzi retweeted him going, "Yep." So apparently, Shotzi is actually dealing with an injury. So, hopefully it's not serious. I don't think it's that serious. Maybe muscles. I was gonna say muscle spasm, not muscle spasm, but I don't know. She should be okay, maybe. So yeah, Raquel's gonna win this. They're not gonna give the title to Emperor. Next match, Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li in a singles match. How they set up this match was Xia Li handpicked Mercedes Martinez as her next victim. So, and apparently they have history dating back to the Mae Young Classic where Mercedes Martinez beat her. So, this is actually Xia Li's first takeover. So good for her. It's weird because Xia Li came out on TV and she has that really cool gimmick, and they just kept her off TV. That's just so weird. I didn't hear about her getting hurt. I mean, granted, wrestlers nowadays like to keep injuries on the low, but I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. She was a hot thing for a minute, and then they took her off TV. So, but I can see Xia Li win this. Mercedes Martinez is she's here to put other girls over and make them look good. She's going to be here to have great matches with anyone. I mean, because she had a great match with Raquel not too long ago. She had a great match with Rhea last year, that cage match. So, I mean, this could be a good match. But, yeah, Xia Li is going to win. Mercedes Martinez, again, she's going to be the one that puts everybody over. Which there's no shame in that. Because I have a feeling that they obviously like her up there. So, next match, you got Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight. And a ladder match for the $1 Million Championship. I mean, I don't really care about this feud. To be quite honest, I don't really care about Ted DiBiase. Because I asked before, what's the end game on bringing him in? Obviously, he's going to be someone's mentor. Oh, if you're going to be a mentor to someone, why not be a mentor to somebody who needs it and who can't talk? Because Grimes can talk. Grimes has personality. LA Knight can talk. He has personality. So why even suggest that these two need him? I really don't know. It's an odd feud, and it's in a way it's a mismatch, because if this was just a regular match, okay, but it's just like, you two guys need me. It's like, well, not really. Knight can talk. Like I said, Knight can talk. He can be charismatic. Grimes has has a very over the top personality. But I don't know about this feud. I really don't. I just, again, like I mentioned, I don't care. I guess Grimes. Give it to Grimes. That's my suggestion. Another match I'm noticing is missing. Didn't they make Io Shirai for Candice LeRae for Sunday, or is that a match that's going to be on an NXT show? Because if it's on, well, actually, because I see 5 matches, and usually NXT just likes to do 5 matches, so I'm guessing that's going to be an NXT match, or on the NXT show. So never mind about that. So next match, or the main event actually, you have the Fatal 5-Way for the NXT Championship. You have Karrion Kross, the champion, versus Kyle O'Reilly, versus Adam Cole, versus Johnny Gargano, versus Pete Dunne. There's a lot of theories going into this match and what could possibly happen. So, the idea that a lot of people are suggesting is that Kross will lose. Like, he probably won't eat a pin. Like, somebody else will eat the pin, and that's how Kross will lose his title. And they're going to put him on the main roster. I would rather that won't happen because, like I've said, keep the title on Kross until the end of the year and then have him debut in the Rumble. And then he can just relinquish the title to William Regal and be like, I've done everything I need to do with this title. And then he ends up going to Mania. But the thought does come to mind of like who are some credible opponents that you can give for KROSS? Like, it seems like him and Adam Cole are going to be like the main event of the next Takeover, the Takeover for SummerSlam. That should be a good match, but other than that, it's like we're talking about credible because let's just be real. I like Adam Cole, but I mean he's like, he's the size of he's probably shorter than a sixth grader because there's a lot of fucking big ass sixth graders. So as far as like credible go, I mean you can book him up against Bronson, but Bronson's the North American champion. I mean the idea, the big money match could be him and Walter, but another thing comes into play of like someone's got to be the winner, someone's got to be the loser, and both of those guys are world champions. So how are you going to book that match? Like, is it going to be like, there's only one NXT, and, if KROSS wins, he's, the undisputed NXT champion? I mean, that could work. That wouldn't be a bad thing to do. But other than that, like who can you put in front of KROSS in NXT? I mean, I wouldn't hate it if he debuted on the main roster soon, because I've been saying for a while he's ready. Like, he is ready. I mean, someone that we all know, whose name I will keep private, he's been saying to me, KROSS wanted to come back to NXT because he had unfinished business. He wanted to help the brand and be the champ. He didn't just want to be hot-shotted onto the main roster. He wanted to pay his dues first, which is admirable, which is respectful of the guy. I like KROSS even more every time I hear anything good about him. So, but I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, the idea is that I know this is going to be a way to put KROSS over as a beast. He's just going to run through all four of these fuckers because, I mean, let's just be real. Out of everybody in this match, the only feud that seems like it's an actual feud is Adam Cole and KROSS. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly was trying to do that, but it looks pathetic, personally. And then Johnny Gargano, no. Pete Dunne, no. So, this match was obviously made because, the Fatal 4-Way match, like, who out of that bunch would look, credible against KROSS? I mean, because the idea was Kyle O'Reilly, since they're trying to push him, but it's just Kyle O'Reilly isn't working. Like, Kyle O'Reilly's a good worker, he's a good wrestler, but the whole, cool Kyle, Orange Cassidy ripoff Kyle, or Orange O'Reilly Kyle, like, it's not working. And it's just like, Johnny Gargano, no. Hell no. Like, there's no chance in hell KROSS is selling for him. He is not going to make his shit look good. With Finn's a small guy, but Finn's also believable as a smaller guy. And then Pete Dunne, no. Fuck no. So, I mean, Adam Cole and KROSS is a good feud because both guys can talk. Both guys can talk. Both guys can talk shit. Cole can work, obviously. And, it'll just be another great match for KROSS. But, again, it's like, are we really supposed to believe that Adam Cole could beat, Karrion Kross? No. He can't. So, I'm going to pick KROSS to win this. Would it surprise me if maybe he lost and they wanted to hot shot him onto the main roster? Not really. It would and it wouldn't. But I'm going to go with KROSS. Those are my picks for NXT TakeOver in your house this Thursday. Or not Thursday, Sunday. There's a few things I want to talk about. Triple H. This is coming from Fightful.com. Let's see. Dave Meltzer actually had an interview with Triple H, which is interesting. He asked them about fans being frustrated with following the NXT product, seeing their favorite talent being misused on the main roster, and how to fix the fans' enjoyment on NXT. I'm just going to read the whole thing because we have a lot of time to fill. One way of looking at its misuse, I'm sorry, I'm going to rephrase that. One way of looking at it is misused, quote unquote, and the other way is that things don't always pan out. There are players that play in the NFL that play college football, and people can't wait for them to get to the NFL, and when they get to the NFL, it doesn't work and it doesn't pan out. You can say a team misused them or mismanaged them, or the coach of the team they played for didn't put them in the right role. It could be a million reasons. It can also be that sometimes talent doesn't fit in a particular place, or talent got to a particular place, and that was the end of their growth curve. Sometimes it doesn't work. There are a lot of factors. I'm sensing bullshit in that whole sentence, but we'll get to that. As NXT has grown, and one of the things that has changed, people say, quote unquote, what is NXT? Is it strictly developmental and you are looking for everyone to move on, or is it his own brand? It'll be an interesting place. The criticisms a year or two, that was a heavy knock on NXT. It was always said, how can I get into this brand? When I get excited about a talent, they move on. It kills me for the brand, and I don't like it. It was a heavy criticism. That was the first 3 of 4 years. Then I switched, and the brand changed again. There will be some talent that is in a position for a long time, and they might not fit different places or might not go different places. Some talent don't want to leave and expand beyond. Maybe the schedule doesn't work for them physically, whatever it is. It's funny to me that everyone is so worried about where everyone is going to go or land, or how it'll play out long term. How about watch it? Do you like it or not like it? Do you have to say, quote unquote, I like it, but I like this other thing? Watch it or don't. Stop trying to figure out where everything goes. Fans ruin their own stuff half the time trying to figure out where everything goes and how, and then search for the thing to find out what it is that can ruin it for them, so they are not surprised when it happens. I don't understand that. I'm thrilled with what the brand is and where it is. Do I want it to get better? Yes. Do I want it to grow and expand? Yes. People will take the line and use it in a context, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm not here to make a brand that is around for a few years or a few minutes. I want it to be long term. How is it long term? It morphs and evolves. It shouldn't be the same. If it's the same 3 or 4 years from now, then we made a mistake. It's just like people. You grow. And that's it. That is everything Triple H had to say to Mr. Meltzer, to Uncle Dave. I call bullshit and shenanigans and everything Triple H just said. And here's what I mean by that. Triple H does not want to really say it's creative's fault and Vince doesn't know what to do with any of these guys. He wants to, but he can't. Because that's his father-in-law, and I'm pretty sure Triple H is not above getting his ass chewed out by Vince. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not above getting in trouble, even though he's, one of the most important people in the company. So, it's been said, for a while, like 5 years, that Triple H is beyond frustrated with how the company treats his NXT guys, because, Triple H and Dusty were pretty much Dusty Rhodes were pretty much in charge of NXT. Like they were the daddies of NXT. Those are their kids, especially Dusty. So for Triple H to put a lot of time and effort into someone like Shinsuke Nakamura, who to this day you can watch his debut in NXT against Sami Zayn and still get goosebumps. Like, that was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Or someone like Finn Balor, who was a freaking Armani underwear model overseas. I think of someone else. Someone like Bayley, who you looked at her and you goes, this could be the female John Cena, because she's playing the superhero role to a T. Or someone like Rhea Ripley. It was like, this is someone who's guaranteed money and they can't fuck her up. Or another good example, Aleister Black. This guy could be the next Undertaker in a sense, where, he's the supernatural being. He's the Dark One. And what do all those guys have in common? Those guys and girls. The WWE fucked them up. They fucked them up. Because, again, CM Punk put out a tweet, I'm just paraphrasing, creative is only catering to one person, and that's Vince. They're not catering to the talent. They're not catering to the fans. They're catering to Vince. So, Vince, the only thing about Vince is if Vince doesn't get you, then you're kind of fucked. Because he didn't get Aleister Black right off the bat, and Aleister Black was fucked from the get-go. And I mean, it's still mind-numbing to think about where they gave him, they repackaged him into a new gimmick, and they even gave him great theme music. They brought him back, and then 2 weeks later they fire him. I don't get the mindset behind that. If it's a budget, then okay, get rid of people that actually need to be released. Don't get rid of people that are actually talented and that you actually put time, money, and effort into. But going back to Triple H, for Triple H, there had to have been some, maybe a little bit of a condescending tone, especially when he's talking about there's football players in college that are great in college, but then they come to the NFL and they don't work out. It's like, okay, that's part true, but wrestling is a little bit different. Because again, in NXT, would Nakamura have been John Cena level? No, but Nakamura was a star. You could have made Nakamura a star, but the one thing that he just couldn't get over the hump, according to The Office, is this guy can't cut a promo. And when you're on the main roster, you have to talk. They don't care who you are. You have to talk. So it's just like, why didn't you just get this guy an interpreter? Get this guy a manager. And they have done nothing with Nakamura since. I mean, I know the inside joke about Nakamura is that he phones it in. It's like, well, can you blame him? This guy has zero passion. This guy has zero passion because this company doesn't have anything for him to do. The guy won the Royal Rumble, and that's it. That was basically the peak of him being on the main roster. You look at what they've been doing with Asuka. They push her and de-push her. They push her and they de-push her. And now she's officially de-pushed. I don't think she'll be champion for a while, in my opinion. I mean, same thing with someone like Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman wasn't really an NXT guy. I mean, he was there to train, but he wasn't really there. But, again, once upon a time, this guy was over, and they didn't do anything with it. So, I'm pretty sure Triple H is frustrated. Like, he is frustrated beyond belief. I mean, the whole thing about saying, watch it or don't, I mean, that's probably something you shouldn't say. That's probably the only thing I will disagree with him on is to say watch it or don't. It's like, well, people are still going to watch. But everything he said, I mean, I can almost believe that there was a lot more Triple H wanted to say, and there were things that he actually, for real wanted to say, but he had to keep it to himself. So, again, he's not going to trash his father-in-law, in public. He's not going to do that. But, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are a lot of people have different views on it. I know Kevin said he was kind of, 50-50 on it. But, I mean, it makes sense because, I mean, what can you do? What can Hunter really say? I mean, the sad thing about NXT is also the best thing about NXT. You're seeing great wrestling. You're seeing, future stars of, tomorrow, today. And eventually, these guys are going to go to the main roster and put over Baron Corbin or put over Carmella. So I'm almost frightened. I'm frightened at the thought of what they're going to do with KROSS. Like, I know Kevin. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. Kevin knows KROSS. I mean, just be said it before, but I know Kevin has always said, they like KROSS up there. Vince likes KROSS. KROSS has Vince's phone number. So I'm still scared. that creative is going to have nothing to do for this guy. And Vince is going to look at him and try and change everything about him. He's going to try and make Scarlett a bigger star than him. I love Scarlett. I want to see her wrestle. And she has star quality, but I really don't know. I don't. It's rough. It's rough to think about. As far as NXT goes, that's really about it. The ratings for the A&E WWE biographies came out. Let's just read them in order by the first episode, which was Steve Austin, 1,062,000, or 1,000,062, which is currently the highest rated. So Steve Austin is still a draw. There's no doubt about that. So, and then Roddy Piper with 880,000. Macho Man with 790. Booker T with 595. Shawn Michaels with 634. Ultimate Warrior with 770. Mick Foley with the lowest, 518. And the most recent one, Bret Hart with 643,000. I was almost sure it was going to be Booker T that got low. Because, Booker T was a good wrestler, but, Mick Foley was a much bigger star. But Mick Foley got the lowest. I guess it maybe has something to do with the dark side of the ring. Because I think people would prefer it when there's more tragedy in someone's life rather than just being Mick Foley, where it's just like he doesn't really have too many bad things going on. It's like the guy's been married to the same woman since he was Cactus Jack back in Japan or whatever. So it's just like he's happy. It's like that's kind of boring. Booker T. He at least had some trauma in his life. And then Warrior, I think, had the third best one. The Bret Hart one I saw on Monday. Because it was on Sunday. I don't have A&E on YouTube TV, so I had to watch it the next day. It was good. It didn't really tell me anything I didn't know, because I watched the Bret Hart documentary a while ago. So it just again didn't really tell me anything I didn't know. Just talked about his time in Stampede and how he loved, drawing cartoons. It glanced over Owen. It didn't glance over. It just it just mentioned it, and then it just poof went away. Which maybe there's a reason. Because we've kind of already talked about Owen, and I'm pretty sure Brett doesn't like talking about Owen. And also maybe there's some legal shit, because there's Martha owns Owen's estate. She owns certain pictures and certain videos, so maybe they couldn't show too much of Owen, which is nuts to think about. And it just talks about Brett. Brett doesn't talk too much shit in this documentary like he usually does in most shit. He just gets to Goldberg and says Goldberg was a 0 talent, a 1 out of 10 wrestler. He still hates Goldberg to this day. I think it's funny. And he says WCW are idiots and they know how to use him. I'm surprised. I was almost baffled that Hulk Hogan wasn't in this documentary. And maybe that was a Brett call, because Brett hates Hogan. So, because Hogan was in the other documentaries, but he wasn't in this one. Maybe they wanted to put him in, and Brett was like, nope, I don't want him in. Fuck that guy. But, and it just talks about his life, after the concussion, where he, had to end his career, or had to retire. He had a stroke just riding on his bike, which that's insane. And then he got brought back into the Hall of Fame in 2005, which I'm surprised they didn't talk about that. It talks about him and Shawn reconciling, and then Brett getting choked up, talking about having to carry all this anger, for him for so long. And it talks about his wife, which I had no idea his wife was that young. If any, I thought his wife was maybe 40-something. But she's 38. She's 38 and he's 63. But hey, he's happy. He's happy. My girl's older than me. At the end of the day, It's like they always say, age is just a number. You just gotta say fuck it and be with the one you love, and the one that makes you happy. And obviously, Brett is happy because they ended on a high note. Showed him with his kids and his grandkids, just having fun. He looks happy. So at the end of the day, it's all about what makes you happy. And for Brett, this seemed like it was very therapeutic for him because he needed to get all this shit off his back. And he'll be admitted that he was bitter at some points in life. He was bitter, towards WWE. He was bitter towards life. He was bitter towards Vince and the wrestling business. And, about Montreal, mainly. That played a big role in his life. But it was a good documentary. I believe that's the last episode. And then Dark Side of the Ring is doing one tonight, and it's going to be the last one before they come back in fall, because season 3 is split up into 2. So tonight's going to be about the Dynamite Kid, which that should be interesting. I'm going to try and watch that live if I can. But other than that, that's the show mainly. I know Jeff Littman had a question for me. I'm going to look that up real quick. Again, we're doing a short show tonight, guys. There's going to be a Patreon show this Saturday. So let me see what Jeff asked me. He asked me, do you think Jake Atlas will be added to the ladder match? No. I already don't care about the match. I don't care about Jake Atlas either, so. Then he's asked me what pre-show matches or surprises did you expect? Well, the show hasn't happened yet, Jeff. I don't even think NXT does pre-show matches, do they? I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll add a pre-show match. It'll probably just be like a bullshit match. So that's, I don't know. I can't really think of a pre-show match with that because it kind of seems like everybody's stacked. If it's a pre-show match, it's going to be, again, like a bullshit match. So I don't know. We'll see. That's the only question. Shout out to Wrestling Soup because they're going to be doing a show at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Shout out to them. Shout out to Kevin Castle and Baseball Chicky on the Castle and Chicky Adventures. So listen, they just had a new episode that just dropped, so listen to them. Kevin Castle's doing a Castle Chronicles show on his Patreon, the DTKC Patreon. Shout out to Trez. Shout out to False Count Radio with Andrew Carlick. Shout out to Wrestling Court. RJ, of course, my partner in crime, will be doing something this Saturday. Brother Monty. Ruben Prime, of course, my boy. The Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Shout out to those guys. They just had their 200th episode yesterday, actually. I popped in like in the last, 30 minutes of the show? It was really good. They're good dudes. Give the show some love. They're really good. Let's see. Texas Podcast Massacre, of course. Dimension Unusual with Relly H. Of course, Jeff Littman. Can't forget about him. Can't forget about that son of a bitch. With his 8 million shows. Particularly just Garden of Doom, which I'm supposed to be making an appearance on pretty soon. And then Hammerlock Hangover and Unpopular Review. Hammerlock Hangover with him and Steve. Can't forget about those dudes. Russell Bread Podcast. Breaking the Apocalypse. I'm forgetting somebody else. I'm just really out of breath today. I'm very much out of shape. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody as a podcast. Shout out to everybody who does this little thing we call wrestling podcasts. But again, me and RJ doing something this Saturday, so look for that. And if I can find a special guest for Sunday, we'll be doing a post show for NXT TakeOver. But yeah, that's the show, guys. I appreciate y'all for listening, downloading, showing some love. And all I gotta say is laters. Peace.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's
Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.